Today we're going to learn how to divide decimals. Before you watch this video, be sure that you understand how to add and subtract decimals and that you understand how to multiply decimals. There's videos that I have on my page that go over this, or you can just ask your teacher. So let's go ahead and get started. So just as a review, what the heck is the divisor again? So the divisor is the number that sits outside the division house. The divisor is the number that the dividend is being split by, and the divisor will sometimes be a decimal. So let's talk about what that means. Let me show you. So the divisor can sometimes be a decimal. So let's say that we have 5/10 as our divisor, and we're trying to divide that into 25. Well, I know that my whole numbers always have an imaginary decimal that sit right there. That's important to know whenever you do decimal division. But if I have a decimal in my divisor, which is this 5/10 on the left over here, that means that I have to multiply by a power of 10 to get that decimal to be a whole number. So if I multiply 5/10 by 10, I know that I move my decimal place over one place. And what I do to the outside, I also have to do to the inside. And you might have already guessed it, but as a placeholder, we put a 0 there. So the problem that we're actually going to be solving for is 250 divided by 5. I know 5 cannot go into 2, but 5 can go into 25, 5 times. I subtract, I get 0, and you might feel like you're done, but there's a number to bring down, and we have another 0. 5 cannot go into 0, so we put a 0 right here, and our answer is 50. And don't let the decimal confuse you. If you want, you move the decimal right here. That decimal also goes there, which is what I'm going to tell you about in the next slide. So don't forget to raise the roof of your decimal division house. So let me show you what I mean. In that problem that we just did, I raised up the roof, or the decimal, into my quotient. That's what you have to do whenever you have a decimal in your dividend, which is the number that's inside the division house. So let's do a different number. Let's do 2 7/10. Let me make sure that decimal is really there for you. We'll go into 13 5/10. So I know that I have to multiply out my decimal using powers of 10. So I multiply by 10. 2 7/10 times 10 means I move my decimal over one spot, and my new decimal is there. And what I do to the outside, I have to also do to the inside. So I have to multiply my dividend by 10. And so the number that I'm actually going to be dividing by is 135 divided by 27. Well, I might not know using my multiplication tables that I know off the bat. I might not know 27 going into 135, but I can estimate. I know 25 is close to 27, and I know 125 is close to 135. So let's guess and check. Let's do 27 times 5 and see what happens. 7 times 5 is 35. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Oh, and look at that. It's 5. So 27 times 5 is 135. We subtract, we get 0, we are done, which means that our answer is just 5. Let's do an example where the problem might have a decimal in the dividend. Let's see. Let's see what that would look like. Let's do 24 and 4/10 divided by 4. If you notice, there's no number that makes the divisor a decimal place. So it's just 4 as a whole number. That decimal is right there. So whenever we have numbers like that, that's whenever we just raise the roof. So I make sure I draw my decimal right there. And then after that, I ignore the decimal. And I divide like normal. So I treat it now like a whole number, but my decimal still stays in my quotient up here. So I know 4 goes into 24 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24. I subtract. I get 0. I bring down the 4. 4 goes into 4 one time. I subtract. I get 0, which means that my answer is 6 1/10. So you're going to be doing more practice throughout this week, but hopefully this video has helped you. Bye!